Every morning at exactly 5:17 a.m., before the sun fully climbed over the cracked highway and the neon diner sign stopped flickering, Emma wiped the same counter, brewed the same coffee, and watched the same small figure slip into booth number 7. The boy never spoke. He never smiled either. He just sat there, hood pulled over his head, hands folded like he was afraid to touch the world. Emma had been a waitress at Rosie's diner for 6 years, long enough to recognize hunger that went deeper than an empty stomach. The first time she noticed him, he ordered nothing. He just stared at the laminated menu until his fingers trembled. When she brought him a glass of water, he looked up with eyes too old for his face, eyes that carried a kind of quiet apology, like he was sorry for existing. That morning, Emma slipped a grilled cheese onto his table by mistake. He froze. He didn't touch it for 5 full minutes, as if waiting for someone to yell. No one did. He ate slowly, carefully, like every bite mattered. From that day on, Emma fed him every morning. Sometimes it was soup, sometimes eggs, sometimes half her own lunch wrapped in a napkin. She never asked his name. She noticed the scars on his wrists, the way loud noises made him flinch, the way he wrote thank you on napkins instead of speaking. Rosie, the diner owner, warned her once, "You can't save everyone, kid." Emma nodded, but kept feeding him anyway. Because saving him wasn't the point. Letting him starve was just something she couldn't live with. Weeks passed. Months. The boy always came alone, always left before noon, always paid with a few coins that never covered the meal. Emma covered the rest. Then one morning, the ground itself seemed to breathe. The windows rattled. Coffee cups shook. Outside, the sky thundered, not with storms, but with machines. 2 black military helicopters descended onto the empty lot in front of the diner, rotors slicing the air, dust exploding across the pavement. Customers panicked. Rosie dropped a plate. Emma turned pale. The boy stiffened, his hands gripping the table so hard his knuckles went white. Men in dark suits and uniforms poured out, their boots heavy with purpose. One of them, a tall man with silver-streaked hair and eyes sharp as broken glass, walked straight into the diner. He didn't look around. He didn't hesitate. He looked only at the boy in booth 7. The room fell silent. The men stopped in front of Emma, studying her like she was a puzzle. "Are you the one who's been feeding him?" he asked. Emma swallowed. Her first thought was fear, not for herself, but for the boy. She stepped slightly in front of him without realizing it. "If he did something wrong," she said, voice shaking but firm, "it's on me. He's just a kid." The man's expression cracked, not into anger, but something dangerously close to grief. He knelt in front of the boy and spoke softly. The boy didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded napkin. On it were 3 words, written carefully, painfully, "She feeds me." The man closed his eyes. Around them, the suited men stood frozen, unsure. Finally, the men stood and faced the diner. "This boy," he said, voice echoing, "is the son of a decorated soldier who died protecting classified humanitarian operations overseas. He went missing 6 months ago after fleeing an abusive placement. We've been searching non-stop." His gaze returned to Emma. He stopped speaking after witnessing violence no child should ever see. Doctors said he might never trust anyone again. The men gestured toward the boy. But he came here. Every day. Emma felt tears spill before she could stop them. "He was hungry," she whispered. The men nodded. "And because of you, he survived." Outside, the helicopters powered down. Inside, the diner exhaled. The boy stood, slowly, and hugged Emma for the first time. Just once. Just enough. The men offered to take him home, to safety, to care, to a future. Before leaving, he placed a folded envelope on the counter. Emma didn't open it until later. Inside was a letter and a check big enough to change her life. But the letter mattered more. It read, "You didn't know who he was. You didn't need to. You fed him anyway." That is the rarest kind of courage. Emma watched the helicopters lift back into the sky, the noise fading into quiet. Booth 7 was empty again. but the world felt fuller. And as Emma returned to wiping the counter, she realized something important: kindness doesn't need permission, and sometimes the smallest daily acts echo the loudest. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you that humanity still exists in small places like diners and quiet hearts, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because stories like this deserve to be told and shared every single day.